quality handmade soaps, where handmade is the best made. Proudly making soap for over 5 years, Quality Handmade Soap sets the standard in both quality and safe ingredients. Perfect for the holiday season. I'm telling you right now, you see that black rose soap, I got that in my shower, and man, let me tell you what, your husband or wife will love it. Use promo code VHHN 2022 to get 15% off your first purchase. Link is in the description box. Let's go. Transition a little bit while we have you on, because a lot's happened since we've had you on last, in particular in music and hip hop. A lot of people and a lot of information has been exposed to the people. In particular, we heard a lot about insurance policies being taken out on artists from the labels, and various things that happen behind the scenes, from a legality standpoint to the artists that potentially can harm them that they don't even know about. So, from a teaching perspective, and I know you don't practice this field, but if you were to have an artist and they were about to get a deal, what would you be looking for? What would be some red flags? How could we help potential artists getting into this game from going into situations where they're risking their lives, but they don't have the proper paperwork for themselves? The artists, I mean, the labels do.
First, let me just say I'm a college professor, so I teach. I teach a lot of these subjects. First, before we could talk about this, we have to talk about this in context. Historically, insurance companies have benefited tremendously from the backs and labor of Black people, starting from the slave trade, right? Insurance companies would would insure chattel property, right? So if your slave died, the insurance company would pay you because now you have suffered a loss. This is the same fucking shit.
Mm.
This is the same shit, okay? Because the record label views these artists as commodities. Y'all are not all that important. And we know that we are promoting music that leads to violence. We know it. It's part of our plan. It's our agenda, right? It's not a fucking mistake that all of these record companies are putting out music that is. Do I really need to go into to what the music is doing to us as a community, right? It's no mistake that you don't hear that when I'm playing the KTU station. I don't hear bitches and hoes, and I don't hear none of that, right? But when I play the Black stations, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. So they know that they're pushing a narrative that is dangerous for us and that will continue to stoke violence in our community. So now, instead of saying let's change the music, they're saying let's make more money, right? So since we now have created the climate where these individuals who are our commodities may be killed, let's make sure we can capitalize off their death. The only thing that an artist can do is to make sure that they have their own life insurance. Make sure that they have counsel that can read a contract that they fully understand. You can't stop the company from taking out life insurance because you work for them, right? So part of their interest is to make sure you stay alive, right? And if you should die, then they're going to lose a lot of money. So it makes sense that they would take out a life insurance policy. But the reason that they're doing it is because they're the ones who are behind the music that is promoting all of this violence that we see.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to slavery. I said, we laugh about this, but it goes back to slavery so all too often. And it's some of the same insurance companies that were around then that are around now doing the same thing, right? Which is why it's important, for us to support bills like HR 40, right? HR 40, which has been introduced since 1989 by the late John Conyers, which is just the study of slavery and reparations. Not give us shit, but just look at it.
Right.
That way we can actually have a line of causation, right? To where we are now, to where we are and the condition that we're in now. There needs to be we need to be able to draw lines of causation so that you can see how the insurance industry has affected us now, right? How housing policy affected us now, how having restrictive codes and covenants and deeds affected us now. Because if we say the American dream was to own property, and a whole segment of the population, Black people, have been prohibited from owning property, right? Then we have been closed out of the American dream for years. And the government did that. That wasn't something that we did to ourselves. The government did that, right? And so that this is all in the same line. So I would love to see that bill get passed. I would love to see the study of this thing so people can see how those past things are still present. They're still present.
Definitely powerful. I'm not gonna keep you too much longer. I want to ask you about something that went down yesterday with Charlemagne and God's being sued. I don't know if you know about that case. If you
I
don't, you
didn't
have to
hear about
comment.
that, but okay, tell me what happened.
Well, it was an incident that happened like 20 something years ago,
Yes,
where
the
this
rape
young
is
lady,
that the alleged rape or sexual misconduct. Let's say
right, and he
that one.
pleaded out to like contributing to the delinquency of a minor. The
Yes.
female now is taking him, I think it's civil court, trying to find him civilly liable,
Mm.
for that. How do you feel about that?
I believe I'm trying to remember how his criminal case resolved. I don't believe he was absolved. I believe did he plead guilty or
He,
no contest or something to that
yeah,
effect?
he pleaded to contributing to the delinquency of a minor
Okay,
because
okay,
they didn't cooperate. They didn't fully cooperate, the girl, the mom.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I so she might have a statute of limitations issue. Obviously it's been 20 years or so. I
Hmm.
know that I don't know where she is, but like there's legislation here in New York that passed that if you had been a victim of sexual abuse through an organization, the church, a school,
Hmm.
YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, that you now have a renewed opportunity to bring your case forward. I don't know if that's the case in other jurisdictions. If it is, then she might have a viable claim. And the standard is very low in civil court. The standard in civil court is preponderance of the evidence. And in other words, that means, is it more likely than not that he did that fuck shit? And so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
be that hard to prove. I think he's almost admitted it in some of his, different conversations throughout the course of the years, even jokingly and things of that nature. So, if she can get under the statute of limitations, she very well may have a viable case against him.